All right, here we go. Ice the One. How are you doing today?
It's good. It's good.
Sure. Thank you for coming by to the Lens of Yashu. Just wondering, everything's all set for you so far? Like, you had a good day so far?
Yeah, I'm grinding for sure, but it's been good. Minus it's cold out here, but yeah, it's a dope space. Chilling on this couch,
All right, I feel you. So I just want to start it off first by saying, you grew up in Toronto, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Toronto. Yeah, I moved here from Newfoundland when I was young. Yeah.
Sure. And so the neighborhood or the area that you lived by, was it big for music at the time, or was it in terms of being an industry city, or just as a community at the time?
Downtown area, but always usually the east side of Toronto, northeast. But yeah, it kind of depended on each area, Moss Park, I feel like, and certain different areas of Scarborough kind of influenced my music more than others, just in the sense of we'd be outside freestyling with the homies, or it kind of started too with just poetry, going to some of the marches and rallies and standing up for the injustices that were kind of happening in our community, and learning that we could have a voice, and kind of how to hone in on that craft. So, and at the time it was hip hop was really, I feel starting to bubble in the city in a different way. So, but I was still learning a lot about the culture in general, listening to records and learning how to dub tapes, and to the East Coast sometimes as well. But I got fam out there, so my family is Italian and immigrated through Nova Scotia. So so basically, always kind of downtown east side, but really for me, I always loved music in general, just all kinds of different music, listening to my grandmother's records, and dancing. That was always I just always loved to dance music. So it kind of just, the progression was just kind of a natural thing, and then aligning myself with friends who were kind of into similar stuff, as far as just creating. So yeah, I was blessed as far as that, to have just to see that around me and reflected around me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So just getting back into the second question, what was your musical background and history like, and what made you decide on wanting to become a rapper and singer-songwriter?
Yeah, so basically, I just kind of always had a love for music, even though my parents weren't musical, but my grandparents had their record players, and so listening to old jazz, and even just Ella Fitzgerald and Billie, Holliday, and all that type of stuff growing up. And I guess it was just a natural progression, really, in the sense of, as I got a bit older, I was always kind of just doing it for fun, singing, rapping with my friends or whatever, or hustling. We do it outside sometimes, hustle for change, whatever. But in high school, I feel that's when I really kind of took it a little more seriously, in the sense of just rapping, in the sense of we'd be having ciphers at school, so I'd want to come correct, and to rep your set, rep your ends, so
I know what you mean.
it was that, and then singing as well, and just really, for me, music was just a form of expression, but also a way to express things that you may not normally do with your actual words, as far as talking, you know what I mean? I wasn't always the best at expressing myself necessarily through dialogue, speaking, but when it came to putting it into a song, or in an artistic way, it was an outlet for me to take all that energy and do something positive than something negative, because I was doing that too, but it was finding the balance,
Sure, I know what you mean. And I think just even with your music, I know that you said that that you've listened to Billie Holiday and Elvis Costello back in your household. What artists or genres were you mainly influenced by, besides rap and I guess with old R&B? And in the future, would you work with any artists someday?
Yeah, besides like hip hop and R&B, obviously like Mary, Missy, all those people were big influences on me. Janis Joplin was a big influence, Jimi Hendrix, even Frank Sinatra. Like, I guess, you know, just the way that they could emote freely through song inspired me to you know, kind of speak my truth within that storytelling. So yeah, I mean, I'm always open to, you know, collaborating with artists that inspire me, and definitely kind of push the boundaries of, you know, inside the box, you know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm that type of person anyway, so I always am kind of drawn more towards people that kind of step out of those margins, or push the idea of what, you know, a rapper should be or a singer should be. And I never really fit into those boxes, and I feel like a lot of times people, when they don't understand things, they want to kind of put it in a box so it's easier for them to digest or understand. But at the same time, it's like you just gotta do you regardless, you know.
I know what you mean. And just like with your recent tape, like In the Paint, it's actually like I was doing like a whole like Canadian like artist like binge lately with on Spotify, so I've been listening to mainly Canadian acts and like mainly people from Toronto too, and like you were like in my playlist as well. So like when I was like listening to like In the Paint too, like the first song I've heard was Chicago, like from the YouTube video back in August of last year, but I started to like listen to it more lately, and like there's like a unique concept towards it, you know, just with the basketball references and everything else too. So tell me more about the creative process about it and what inspired you to make the project.
Yeah, In the Paint was really a labor of love. Like it was one of those things where I hadn't put out a full project in a while. Like I had done a lot of mixtapes and just like Lucy's and stuff, and yeah, I just felt like it was time again to you know, have a whole body of work. And you know, I was grateful also to have, you know, my fam with me. Like Junior T is someone I've known since high school, and we finally just really got to pretty much just go in on a tape. He produced most of the joints, and then Fresh Kills, who's like my bestie to this day, he did a couple of joints, and it was just like really getting back to the basics. Like we just had fun with it. It was just like back to what made us fall in love with music in the first place. Like forget the business, forget all that other stuff for a minute, and just like be in the lab and just have fun with it. And that's really how most of those tracks came about. Like every time it was a different mood, a different vibe. But when it's kind of just letting all your preconceived thoughts about what, oh, this song should be this, or we're writing this specifically, or more just like being in the present, you know what I mean, and letting it just flow naturally.
Yeah, I know what you mean too. And I think just even like with concept to concept too, I mean, it kind of like fits perfectly for the project. And like even just having Jania T, who's worked with like Jesse Reyes before in the past and with other acts too, like it's actually quite interesting too. And just knowing your relationship with Junia and Fresh Kills from back in high school, and just like with Fresh being your best friend, like tell me more about like working with them like for this project, and how you managed to work with them and like forming that musical like relationship like once after high school.